Hello, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with Coach Caren all the way from Toronto, Canada. We're so glad to have you in the house. We know that you've been out celebrating the holidays, and we are just so happy to see your face. And we want to welcome everybody watching live and on the replay. We want to say, hey, we hope you get everything you came for today because the coach is in the house. Don't forget, you need that pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes. So let's get started. Coach Caren, all the way from Profits in Daily from Toronto, Canada. What do you have for us today, Coach?
Oh my God. I know it's the second week of the month, but it's the beginning of the year for me and all things considered. And we are starting off this year talking about talents. We're starting off talking about talent. Talents, oh my gosh. Did you know each and every one of us, that's why I keep saying we're born wealthy. It's a
Mm-hmm.
matter of us working our way into our riches. That's the difference for the person who is rich, who is everybody's wealthy, who is understand their own. And when you understand your talent, whatever that talent is,
Mm-hmm.
that talent will afford you your riches. And it didn't matter what it is. It didn't matter what it is. When I was in business school, we had to do some research. And I end up working on a case where a woman talent was, she said she had this inkling about cockroaches and she can't explain it, but she also was fascinated with them. And she never figure out why, because it's the most gross thing ever. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody was like, why do you like looking at them? Oh, this is when she was little. She ended up being the person who actually rear roaches for, I forget what kind of reptile pet owners buy them. That's her business. She sell cockroaches to pet owners. I forget the specific kind of pet
Excuse
owner.
me?
Uh-huh.
Help me to understand this.
Okay.
How does,
Cockroaches. I'm
uh-huh.
gonna go that far. Cockroaches. Cockroaches. She was always fascinated with them, and it ended up
Yeah.
being the thing that she was able to do when life knocked her down, she felt. But when she looked around at it, it really was she being, and this is why, since we're young, lots of things we don't notice. But if we paid attention and we had the people to encourage us, we would really notice that it comes back full circle when you really start paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
You see little kids, and if they're lazy, you say they're lazy, but you have to watch and see where they spark, because they're feeling lazy to the things that they don't love. But those kids are very much, if you don't push them any other way, is understanding their lane. Those kids understand where they need to be, versus a lot of creative kids like myself. We're all over the place and we're searching like crazy, even if it's in front of us. But there's the lazy kids who really, this is what they're going to do. And if we let them be, this is what they're going to do, and there's no moving. And I will tell you, I got a cousin, before I get into the mean here, I got a cousin who he had a hole in his heart from the time he was born, my cousin, eldest son. And she had
Mm-hmm.
three of them. And the son that followed him always would say, I'm going to be a doctor to fix my brother. I'm going to be a doctor to fix my brother. Like, he would say this thing, like we'd be playing, and every now and then he would just pop up in it. And did you know, Terry, after he graduated high school and he went to university, he's a surgeon. Let me just cover it right now. He's a surgeon. He had never moved from that lane. By the way, Sean Hart, hole in his heart had been filled up by then, but it was such a take on his heart that he was going to be a doctor that it didn't matter. He could have sing. His dad was a musician. He played the drums like his dad, but it didn't matter what he was doing. If he was playing the drum, it was the drum towards becoming a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And Dwayne has lived his dream and still
Wow. Wow. That dream does manifest early.
it
I know.
does.
I mean, ever since I was little, I would play school,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I did grow up to be a teacher. It was
Yeah,
something I just wanted to
yeah.
do.
Because
I
the
played.
talent is there, and that's the thing about talent. So I'm gonna get right into it
Mm-hmm.
now. Natural aptitude or skill. But what does that mean? Talent is an exceptional natural ability, especially it is particular active, such as music, dance. You see, the little girls naturally would be twirling and doing certain things, and if you don't talk them out of it, they don't know whether they could dance or not. But if you just allow them, they might dance the dance you might be thinking, but they might be dancing the dance that they're supposed to dance. And you just have to
Mhm.
let them be. I had a really beautiful dance teacher. He was male. And he said he danced out of his mom womb. That's how she put it. And everybody used, because he was a guy, so everybody, in the West Indies, everybody was like, let a guy do something else with his hand. But he would dance. He said he literally would be in the classroom and he'd be in his head. And his mom would be called to the class steady because he would steady instead of sitting in the desk. He wants to be on his head. And so he did a lot of acrobatic things. And so he would be sent to the principal office a lot because he said anytime he's upside down, everything for some reason stayed in his head. But if he was sitting up like
How
this,
interesting.
it was hard for him to stay still to
Concentrate.
take it in, yet to concentrate. So he said he would constantly, when he was old enough, he's able to tell him, he's like, I need to be upside down to hear you well. No, teachers those days, don't want to hear that. They want you to sit in your seat. So he spent a lot of time in the principal office. And he said, lucky for him, the principal at the time was a guy who was saying, I don't care if you sit on your shoulder, do the work. I don't care. So he stopped after a while going to class and he would go straight to the principal office and he'd be upside down, but he'll get the work done.
Mhm.
over time,
Interesting.
over time, Shop, over time, he went to our National School of Ballet. Then he started traveling. He went to Cuba. He went to the States, England. He traveled the world for dance. And then he came back and taught it.
Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful?
It's such a beautiful thing.
Wow.
I'm saying all this to say, anytime you're worried, and if you're ever worried about money, stop and think about your talent because God has given it to you. You don't have to go searching for it. You don't have to do anything for it. School will enhance what He has gifted you with, which is your talents. I
Hmm.
always say I'm grateful for my gifts and my talents and the learned skills. I write that regularly in my journal because I know that it was gifted to me at birth. The things I have was gifted to me. Just get enhanced over the years by me practicing and doing and being and living within it. And sometimes that's the hardest part of knowing because when you know that you should do something, and if it doesn't look neat and tidy like everybody else's thing,
Uh-huh.
your parents first, your teachers next, and any adult that around you started to cultivate you into this mold that they think would come up and look neat and tidy. But the truth is, anybody who's done great things live a messy, uncomfortable life. It is not neat and tidy. To the other, to you might feel good, but to most people, it's not neat and tidy.
Hmm. Hi, Chrissy. How you doing?
Hello, good morning.
Happy New Year. Yes.
you know,
Wow. You know something? I think a lot of times we are talked out of our gifts and our
mhm,
talents
mhm.
by authority figures. And um, we come back to those gifts and talents naturally. And sometimes it's at a later stage in life once
Yes,
we're out from under all of that scrutiny.
yes, yes. There's another story. A girl named Fiza. She used to be my hairdresser, Indian girl, and she says, "Karen, I know I was going to be a hairdresser. I can't tell you how old I was, but I knew I was going to be a hairdresser." And she said, "I just love doing hair." And her family, a lot of them study and doing in their eyes a better position than her. So she wanted to be this hairdresser, and it was just such a hard time. And she said her mom was good with it, but then her mom died young, and then she had to go to work. And she
Mm.
went to work, but always wanted to do hair. And finally, she was working with this lady, and the lady said to her, "What do you want to do?" Just like that in passing, she said, "I just want to do hair." And she said, "Then do my hair." And she said, "What?" She goes, "Well, if you want to do hair, come do my hair." And the woman
Ah,
was so happy with her, just wash the hair and set it and stuff. And she said that lady said to her, "If you want to do hair, you need to go learn how to do hair properly." And she went to hairdressing school secretly, so the parents didn't know that she was going to hairdressing school, the dad at the time, because the mom died and he wanted his kids to do really well. So hairdressing in his eyes wasn't as prestige, wouldn't give her as much money, wouldn't get her to live the life that in his mind he thought she needed to live. Anyhow, fast forward, she got married to a teacher. And she said, Karen, this is how your blessing comes in disguise. I got married to this teacher and I told him what I wanted to do. And he said to me, so why aren't you doing it? Let's make this happen. And she's like, she said, yes, we're going to send you back to school. We're going to open a salon and you're going to live your dream because I'm living mine. I enjoy teaching science. There's nothing like teaching science, you know. And she said Tony was her biggest cheerleader. And, you know, she got to open her salon. Because when you are working in your genius, God moves everything out of the way so you
Wow.
can get there. But you have to believe and really live into that desire that came into your heart, that that's what you're supposed to do. And so when the hardship comes, when hardness is happening, you still have to be focused. You still have to see this little tiny light that is there. And you have to consistently keep making the clearance for this to come true. And that's in your mind. This is not outward. This is in your mind. This is in your mind. I remember my husband saw a paper that I'd written years ago. I can't remember when. That I said it didn't matter what happened. I'm going to reach. I can't remember what the goal at the time. And he said, you would just let everything fall by the wayside to hit this goal. And I said, it probably wasn't. It wasn't for your eyes. So now that you see it, I can't help you unsee it, but it didn't change. You can't let somebody else and what they're thinking or what they're feeling stop you from working towards whatever it is your heart is desiring for you to do, because that is just awakening the talent and the gifts that you're born with. It's really tapping. It's really telling you. It's really talking to you.
So pay attention, right?
Pay attention.
And I think sometimes we diminish that gift and that talent. Or someone
Yes.
says, "Oh, you got a little business.
Mhm.
That's nice, but what do you really do?" Excuse me? Or you're not making that much money at that business. Are you moving in what you love to do? If you're moving in what you do, keep moving and do not despise small beginnings, because I'm telling you, I think often when I get discouraged, or I'm thinking, is this going to really work? I have to remember, what about the guy who invented the paperclip? That thing is still making money for his families. Generational wealth out of a twist of wire.
Just a why, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I got my granddaughter a little bracelet making kit where you make these bracelets out of rubber bands. And she sat there and she was making the bracelets. Next thing I know, her brother's making bracelets. Her her 15-year-old brother comes in and says, "Oh, I want to try that." They're sitting there making bracelets. I'm like, okay, that natural bent toward being a maker,
Maker, yeah.
creator,
Yes.
because the 15-year-old had made a a hoodie
Hmm.
and put a design on it the month before. So, when they come to grandma's, it's sort of like, oh, it's time to get creative,
Yes.
because I have
Yes.
stuff all over the place for them to
Right.
create with.
Everything gets to spill out. They feel free to do it. A
Mhm.
friend of mine, uncle, he was in his late 50s and he got laid off. And I remember him saying, I was in the group, and he was just telling us, he says, I just always want to make scooter. Now, mind you, see scooter all around. It wasn't around. Scooter is always there, but it wasn't popular like you see it everywhere. I can't remember what year it was, in the 90s. Anywho, and he said, I really want to make a scooter. And everybody said to him, but scooters, people know about scooters. It's not as, because it didn't come back into the popularity that we're seeing.
Mhm.
And he says, at least I didn't see it. And so he said, I always want to make the scooter. He made it out of wood. Eh? And he was trying to get it manufactured. He was trying to show them how the wooden kind work. He was trying all sorts of things. He made it himself. It was working with wooden wheels and what have you. And that man, for the next 3 years, from the time he told us, he kept at it. I think he was about 61 or 62 when he finally got it manufactured. He hasn't worked. I don't think he didn't have to wait till 65 to retire. He retired around 62, 63. Because guess what he ended up selling? The intellectual property. The way his scooters are made is all around. You wouldn't know it because, of course, he never went into any details after, but he got a deal of a lifetime. So him, his children, because he had said it, he said, now that I'm laid off, I'm looking after my grandkids and my great grand.
Exactly.
That's where the money went. I knew it. I was telling my friend, I said, you remember when your uncle was talking? She said, yeah, I don't think anything turned out happened to it. I said, you don't pay attention to anything. His wife has retired in her 50s. Why? What happened? They're paid off for the house. They paid off their daughter's house. The son that got laid off, they told him not to worry, go follow his dream. They helped him open a gym.
Wow.
The other son that was driving the bus, he no longer drive the bus. You're not paying attention. And she's like, Karen, how you notice all those things? I'm like, because I pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
He has said nothing after everybody in the crowd said to him, you're 50 in your 50s. What are you going to invent something that's around already? You see, it's just whatever he wanted to do and whatever tweak he did allowed him to persevere, not listen to the big audience, but stay focused on whatever God put in his heart. And he said he wanted to make a scooter since he was a boy. He always watched people do it and always see that there's a better way to stand on the flat. That was his thing, a better way to balance. But nobody would believe him. So he wouldn't speak on it because he says he can't speak on it because, of course, we went to functions and I asked him, I said, what happened to the scooter story? And he smiled and walked away. And I went behind him and asked him. He said, it turned out well. That's all he said to me. He said, but there's things I can't disclose, but it
now
turned
see,
out well.
His word have I hid in my heart. You know, and the word of God says your gift will make room for you.
It will, and it always
It will
does.
make room for you.
Yeah, and that's where we gone back into money. And give one more story before I get into the money part of it. You know, my grandmother was a woman who, she always said, I can't do a lot of things, but what I could do it well. And so she kept a good home. And so she pressed all her sheets. Her bedroom was like if you went to a hotel. When you get in there, you just want to go crawl up on the bed, the layers and just everything used to be so nice. Anytime I go visit her, I just want to get in there in her bed and her place because everything would be just so neatly and thing. And when I think about it, I'm like, what would you do with the talent? Because sometimes that's the hard part. So I'll get to that. Why sometimes people don't do because they don't know what to do with that talent that they got. She came to Canada years ago, and then when she came back home, she got this job at the where you could call it the president place. We call it BitCo. It's a place where presidents and vice president from each country would come and visit. And she was the lady who did the salad. That's what she did. She did the salad. She didn't do anything else. She did the salad. The salad was like a work of art because she liked salad. And remember when she got hired, she used to do different things. And the head cook in the kitchen said to her, you want to take over the salad because I tell you, when I see you create a salad platter, I'm like in awe. And she took it on. She took on the salad. I'm telling you, that's all she did.
This is what I mean. Keep it narrow. Don't be all over the place, folks.
When the woman set up a salad platter, when you see a display come out from my grandmother, I am telling you, it's like when you see cake art now, you're like, huh?
Exactly.
With the tomatoes and the lettuce and just other things that she'd invent new combinations and salads. She was just, that was her thing. If she wasn't into salad, she was into linen. That was her two things. But at work, that's what she did. That's what she focused on. She never worried about anything. And when I say this is to say that when you understand where your talents are, your money will flow because you're not trying to figure out how to make money. The money's coming because you're doing what you're supposed to do. When you're supposed to do it, it always feels like you're not going to make enough money. Trust me, every single person who you see looking great now wanted money. They did not. It's not about not wanting. But at some point, they start understanding that the things I'm doing, even though it's not paying me immediately, it will pay me eventually. And then God sent people to help you realize that dream. And you And he
And he
sends people.
says, yes, it
He
will.
just send you
Mhm.
people to realize the dream, and he just come in. And I mean, I personally just, I'm a witness here of how he just send people. I tell people I make a lot of things to self. I'm a maker at heart. I'm a maker, a teacher, and a coach. I'm truly a maker. And when I first started making planning chips, you guys is potato chips, but in my country, planning chips is the bomb. And when I first started making planning chips, I taught myself all the different steps, and then I came up with systems. And I had friends who came and rally around me without pay, just come in and take me 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning to get my planting. Come in, and I used to dry my planting when I got them sliced in the sun, because it was easy to fry. And then because I was buying it so much and the place is warm, I'm from South America, the place is warm, it would get ripe too quickly. And then eventually the people who I'm buying the planting from start saying to me, I meet a few people who would point out the type of planting I should buy, and who I should buy it from, and then where I should buy the oil from. And so this is how God sent you the people, because now you have been working in what you're supposed to do at that time. You can grow from it, but that's what I was supposed to do. And then my friends would rally around me, and my son godmother came one day to see her godson, and we got to talking, and she said, she didn't say anything to me, but she saw my mom later, and she said, I got a gift for Caren. And she sent me the gift that I got today. I have it on me. She sent me a slicer.
Mm.
And I tell people, this slicer, my son is 36. The slicer have never gotten dull in 36 years. I still use it.
Wow.
It's a gift that I can't, we can pass on to my kids. I've never seen it before. It's just a metal handle, and the blade is in between there. There's no way to sharpen the blade. You understand? And she sent me this gift, and I didn't know how to use it. And she came by the Saturday. She says, you might be wondering how it works. And she
Mm.
said, you need to give me a plant and let me show you how it works. I was too busy. She was a teacher. She had her own school. And she came in, and Terry, she showed me how to use it. Now, this was an art I took me weeks to learn, because she showed me how to slice it out. But I was accustomed to a knife. And
Yes.
I remember saying to myself, what am I going to do with this thing? And I put it aside.
She says, what slicer is that? Been looking for one to reduce my cooking time.
and you know and I started practicing on it slowly and surely, and slowly and surely God was setting me up, because I told you it, within weeks I got an order for 200 bag of planet chips per day. So he's setting the course, and you got to understand the things you're doing, it's not going to bring you the money right away, especially us business people. The people who hear you come in 30 days, you make $1 million. Please do not listen. He is setting you up for the things that is about to come. Be
Mhm.
patient and be diligent and be focused, and understanding that your talents and your gifting and skill level grow as you do. And when that happens, the money follows. The money increase. You don't have to do anything other than what you're doing, and the money increases. Yes, you
Mhm.
got to sell. Yes, you got to meet people. Yes, all those things. And that's not what today's about. Eventually I get into that. But you truly watch the money flow in. And by then, you are not worried about the money anymore. You're not paying attention because you're busy fulfilling orders. No, I'm hiring people. So I'm learning how to hire people. I'm learning how to train people. I'm learning distribution. I'm learning all these other skills and talent, that because I took a chance on myself and I listened to what I'm supposed to do. And mind you, I made a whole lot of things. I make a whole bunch of things. But God was pointing me, he said, this is the money maker. This is the thing that is going to explode your business. And if you pay attention to this specific thing, planting, oil, and salt, that's it. You're going to do good. I made bread. I made a lot of pastries. I made cakes. I made everything, and I was good at it.
Mhm.
When I paid attention to the thing that he said to me, that's where you need to go, there was this change, this stir. So I made plantain chips, and I also made plantain flour. because I had a baby. And so I was catering to mothers. So these two items were my brought in all my money. The rest of the stuff I still did on the weekend, but these two things had me so busy that I was paying attention. And that's why if
Mhm.
you're a woodworker and you're making, I don't know, cutting boards, and people say, well, you can build a cupboard. Don't listen to them. If you know you're supposed to build cutting boards, just make your cutting boards. If you got this
Exactly.
spare time and you want to do cupboards, it's fine. But do not listen to them. Pay
Don't
attention to your cutting boards.
don't get distracted. Daisy says, good. Had me join at the right time. God's setup is always on time.
Always on time.
He knows.
Always on time.
Hey, you think he knows what he's talking about? I think we might want to pay attention to the creator.
I'm
You know what I
telling
mean?
you, I was off sick, and when I was coming off the bed on the seventh day, I clearly hear that I need to drop something that I've been wrestling with. And he cleared up some gray areas that I was wrestling with. I was still wanting to fight on it. And this morning, I got some news on certain things. I was like, okay. Okay. We know the direction. We know what we're holding on to. We know we need to trust it. But sometimes, when you love it, when it feels right for you,
Mhm.
you want to stay here. So I really want to say this out of part. Sometimes all the stuff I just said about, was time for you to move on from it.
Mhm.
There is the things that I love to do and I got involved in. I made great income from it. But then it became a point where he said, that's enough. It's over.
Mhm.
This is a hard part for makers. This is a very hard part for makers. When I was making pajamas, and my mom said to me, Karen, maybe this is the end of pajama season. You're gonna have to just give it away, find a charity and just send them to. I don't think you need to hold on to them. I fight her on the idea like nobody's business, because like, I got all these pajamas, I spent all this time making them, I designed them. People love me in my pajamas. Like, how can I just give it away? What am I supposed to do? And she's like,
Mhm.
it's holding you back. It's holding you back
Mhm.
for the next level that you need
Level.
to get to. And I fight my mom and that for a whole year. Boy, was she right. She was so right. It's the other thing. He sends you the messengers, close people to you. People. And he just says, this season is done.
Mhm.
And he's been telling you. So for me, everybody got their own warning. For me, people and my being, like my being, know when something is getting to the end. Know when this section of my life, this section is not because the talent ain't good anymore. When this section of my life is moving on. The pajamas thing, I knew because a friend of mine came and saw me. I hadn't seen her in like 2 years, and she said, Karen, I want to come see you, and she came and saw me, and then she said to me, she said, I have a feeling that you need to do something else. I was like, what are you talking about? You don't even know what I'm doing. She goes, yeah, I feel like all the talent that you have, you need to start writing little booklets about them. Like, that's all you need to do right now. And me and Michelin spent a day together, and she went away, and then she called me 2 weeks later. She said, are you still doing what you're doing at the time? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you gotta let it go, right? And then
Wow.
eventually my mom and different people. So when you get to a certain level in life, this is why when you see people with money, you're like, why are they doing this now? Or why are they moving on? Because they start understanding that there's this place where you go and where you went and you came and you serve your time. And once you explore it and you did what you're supposed to do and you pass the talent on, because the talent is really, really good to pass on. I mean, you get to teach it, you write a book about it, you put it down,
Mhm.
you pass it to somebody. Now it's time for you to go somewhere else. And then you get to the peak, and maybe this is the time for resting. So no matter what ideas you have or what you want to do, you can't do it because he said you need to rest now because you did all of this and now it's time to
Mhm.
rest. And you need to take time and rest. And if you fight it, you get a cold, you get the flu, something happened to you because you're not listening that this is your rest time. It's not a doing time because you're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing and saving and investing and getting yourself there. So when you get to the peak and he says it's time to rest, you rest, because when you rest and you come back, when you come back, you're better. You do wonderful things because you had the time to clear, dust off, get the cobwebs out of the way, and just be in all your glory. It might look different when you come back. It might be the same thing that you're doing, and it's okay because you've passed that time and now you're where you're supposed to be.
Mhm.
You gotta trust.
Wow. Well, Tennessee says, Look, confirmation. I needed this today. Thank you for the blessing of conversation. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
joining the conversation.
Yes.
Uh, am I pronouncing your name right? Denise. Denise. Denise? So, guys, let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
Um, so we're just going to call you Sister Smith. Okay.
I like that one.
Yes, Miss Chick Smith. And we just want to say to everyone who's watching today, these conversations are ongoing. And today we're talking about your talent will make you wealthy. So, Coach, I just thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you opportunity if you want to summarize or whatever to bring this together. I want me before you do that. I want everybody to know where they can find you online. They can find Coach Caren at Profits in Daily. And I'm going to put it up because sometimes my pronunciation is not always that clear. Coach Caren Fern, Profits in Daily. You can find her on her Facebook page, on Instagram. She is well known around the web, and she has had several businesses. Can you guys hear that going through here? Can you hear that?
Don't worry about it.
No, no.
Coming to the end.
Let me stop that. Okay. Um, because I have my ear. I think my ear. Were they going through the computer? Did,
Okay.
did you hear it?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, good, good.
Yes.
Because phone call came. I said, "Is it connected to my laptop?" All right. We want to thank you all, and we want you to know that you have accolades from
Oh, you're
Cecilia,
welcome,
our
Cecilia.
super fan. And we just want everybody to know that they can find you at Profits in Daily. Coach, you always are a blessing. I'm going to let you have the last word, and I'm going to remind everybody before she does that if you want to be a part of the Biz Chicks community, simply text Biz to 33777 and become a part of our Biz Chicks community. Coach,
Today I talked a lot about talent, and I know I give you an earful. But you truly, if you work in your talent, if you take what you have, you
mm,
really will see your wealth being built because it's there already. You're just working into your richness. That's what it is. You got to take a chance on yourself, and you got to give yourself the time that you need. You are not going too
I can't hear
slowly.
you. I don't know why.
You okay?
Your audio went out.
Nope. I'm still seeing it.
I don't know
Maybe
what that was about.
okay. You can hear me now.
Let me see if I can turn it back on. Okay, try it now.
You can hear me now.
Hmm. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I cannot hear you, Coach. I don't know
Weird.
why.
Maybe because you took it out.
You want to go out and come back in, or let's see here. Hold on. Oh, they can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So today we talk about talent, and I know it was an earful, but your talent really will ensure your riches because you're born wealthy already. So whatever you're doing right now, if this is what you're supposed to do, and you're not fighting against it, you will see that it will get you to where you need to be. You're not going slowly. You're going the time that you're supposed to go. That's your time. That's how it's supposed to be. And of course, if you need any help, you can reach out to me for that. We just begin the year, so I'll be having workshops, both paid and a couple of free ones in there. And my programs will be coming back up and running. So you're gonna hear a lot from me through the districts, through other sources. But yes, this year, if you decided that 2022 is the thing you want to do and see your business shine, then we can do that together because there's no time like the present.
Oh, I love that. 2022 is the thing you want to do. We're going to be the get it done crew in 2022.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we're going to get it done because I think I've had enough rest with 2021. I'm ready. All right. Hi, Jerry. How you doing? So good to
Hi,
see you. Jerry
Jerry.
Spots in the house. Hey, thank you so much, Cecilia, for letting us know that you can hear Coach. What it was, I guess, was when I put my earphones on the.
Yeah.
Then I couldn't hear. Okay. Girl technology. But we are just so grateful for it. And we thank you again, Coach, for your wisdom, for all that you've spoken into us today. And we pray a continued blessing on your life and the life of your family
Thank
and
you.
businesses. Okay, everyone, remember to go to the front of your own
Your own
line.
line,
And
yes.
we'll see you tomorrow for Happy, Healthy Habits with Robert Chamizu and friends on BizChicks TV. Bye-bye, everyone.